Hari Om, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 13. Kshetra Kshetranya Vibhaga Yoga. In the last verse, Bhagwan Krishna said, Hey Arjuna, I will tell you clearly what is to be known, by knowing which one attains immortality. That which is to be known is Brahmam, which has no beginning, Anadi. It is neither Sat nor Asat. This is what Bhagavan Krishna said in verse 12. Now, verse 13. Sarvadah panipadam tat sarvadokshishiro mukam sarvadah shruti malloke sarvamavritya tishtati. Bhagavan, before getting into this verse, for understanding this verse, a small story was told by Swami Chinmayananda. A beautiful story. An Australian scientist came to Ramana Maharishi. The world over knows Ramana Maharishi is a man of few words. He will not talk much. Silence. Already we have seen Maunam Kalakanasti. And Maunam is the entry for the heaven, liberation. The Australian came to Ramana Maharishi and said, Swamiji, before I return to Australia, I want to see God. All my attempts throughout the world failed. I am going on searching for God, but could not find Him. Ramana Maharishi smiled and said, I can show you God, but I don't know whether you will be able to see Him. That is what Ramana Maharishi said. Australian got thrilled because everybody like us. He was also interested in seeing God. All right. Can you show God? Yes, 100% I can show you God. But I am not sure whether you will be able to see. Then he requested him, please show me God. Let me see. Then Ramana Maharishi moved his little finger and said, this is God. The Australian got surprised. He looked at the finger carefully. He looked around the finger. He was going on looking carefully. But only the little finger was moving. He could not see anything. He expressed himself. Swamiji, I am not able to see anything. Ramana Maharishi said, there is God. Again he was moving the little finger. Australian got little frustrated and said, Sir, you are playing with me. You have not shown me God. You are only moving your little finger. So, I am sorry. This is what the Australian said. Then the Ramana Maharishi said, as I told you already, I will be able to show you the God. But you don't have the eyes to see. This is what I said. Then Ramana Maharishi asked a question. You are a famous scientist. What is this finger made up of? Then Australian said, it is made up of flesh and bones. Then if you further disintegrate it, then Australian said, it is made up of calcium, carbon and phosphorus. Ramana Maharishi asked, this little finger, are you sure it is made up of calcium, carbon and phosphorus? Yes, he said. Then Ramana Maharishi asked him a question. How does this combination of calcium, carbon and phosphorus move? What makes it move? The very same power that makes calcium, carbon and phosphorus move makes the entire universe move. That is Brahmam and that is God. This is what Ramana Maharishi said. In the light of this above story, if we see this verse, the infinite heads, infinite mouths, infinite eyes, infinite ears, infinite legs, and hands of every animal, every bird, every human being, everything that is moving on the earth, they are all moving because of what? Because of the presence of what? The only one thing which makes everything move or function is Brahman. Hence, Brahman is Sarvam Avritya Tishtati. This is what the sloka says. Bhagavan has already said this in chapter 11. After showing his Vishwarupa Darshana, then Sanjaya said, Anegavatra Nayanam, Anegatbuddha Darshanam, Anega Divya Baranam, Divyanegotya Dayutam, Divya Malyam Baradaram, Divya Gantanulepanam, Sarvacharyamayam Devam, Anantam Vishwato Mukam. Arjuna confirms it. Pashyami Devam Stava Deva Dege Sarvam Tada Bhuta Vishesha Sangan Brahmanamisham Kamalasanastam Rishimsha Sarva Nuragamsha Divyan Anega Bhagu Dharavatra Netram Pashyami Tvam Sarvado Nantarupam Nantam na madhyam na punastavadim Pashyami Vishveshwara Vishwarupa. Bhagavan already has demonstrated this, showed it to Arjuna, which has been seen by Sanjaya also. Infinite eyes, infinite mouths, infinite ears, infinite legs, and infinite hands. This has been shown by Bhagavan, and now Bhagavan says the same thing. Sarvadav Panipadam Tat, Sarvadokshi Shiromukam, Sarvadash Shrudimalloke, Sarvam Avritya Tishtati. Sarvam Avritya Tishtati. That is what Bhagavan says. Kanchi Paramacharya has beautifully explained this concept. The question is, if everything is one Brahmam, what we daily see is exactly opposite of this. We are not seeing the unity. I'm not, sorry. We are not seeing the unity, but diversity. What we see is exactly opposite of what Krishna says. Everything is one Brahma. We see n number of plants, animals, birds, and human beings. Each one is not only looking different, but each one is thinking different, with different habits, etc. How can all the different eyes, legs, hands, etc. can belong to one Brahman? My legs, hands, and eyes belong to me. His legs, hands, and eyes belong to him. How can it belong to the same Brahman? Everything is Brahman. How? Then Kanchi Paramacharya gives two logical explanations for this. One is Bimba Pradibimba Vada. That is, only one sun is there. Under the sun, on the earth, if you keep water in 100 different vessels of different sizes and shapes under that sunlight, then in the water, if you see 100 different shapes and sizes of suns will appear. The size and shape of the sun, the size of the sun will depend upon the vessel, size of the vessel. The size and shape of the reflecting sun depends upon the size and shape of the vessel. But in reality, if you see, there is only one sun. Similarly, Brahman is one. According to the type of the vessel, that is plant, animal, bird, or human beings, it reflects itself. If water is dried out of the vessels, the bimba, the reflection will not be there. But sun will always remain. Similarly, the manas, our manas, the mind intellect equipment, creates all the differences among all of us. If the manas is thrown out, then only one Brahman will exist. You will be able to see one Brahman. Then, for this, there is a counter argument. The question is, when the water evaporates or thrown out from the vessel, the reflected sun in water disappears. No doubt about it. But that does not mean the reflected sun has become the real sun. The reflected sun disappears, vanishes. But it does not mean the reflected sun has become the real sun. That is the question. This is the argument, counter argument to the previous Vada. Now, previous argument. But that does not. Another logical reasoning is given. The answer is Avichinna Vada. That is, we all know everything is in space. Everything, entire, any number of stars, the earth, the planets, even you and me, our houses, everything remains in space. There cannot be any doubt on this. Everything remains entire space. We occupy some portion of the space. The entire space is called Mahakasha. If you place hundreds of empty pots, there is space inside the pots also. Naturally, when there is a pot, inside the pot, when it is empty, there is space. Again, there is space. It is called Kadakasa. Suppose if pot breaks, will the space inside the pot will also vanish? It will not. What remains is only Mahakasha. It is not Kadakasa merged with Mahakasha. Kadakasa merged with Mahakasha. Once the pot breaks, what remains is only space. When we saw the pot of different shapes and sizes, we saw the differences. But when the pot broke, what existed was only space. Similarly, if the manas goes, the mind intellect equipment goes, then all the differences created by the manas will also vanish. And we will see only one Brahman. That is what Kanji Paramacharya says. The conclusion is, everything is Brahman, which because of our mind and intellect equipment looks as though it is totally different. It has different legs, eyes, nose, ears, faces, etc. One Brahman is having everything. All the eyes, all the noses, all the ears, all the faces, everything belongs, all the legs, all the hands, everything belongs to the same Brahman. In truth, only one Brahman appears as many. Only sunlight is appearing as Vibgr, different colors, because of the prism. That is what this verse says. Verse 13 again.
Sarvadah panipadam tate sarvadokshishiro mukam sarvadashruti malloke sarvamavritya tittati. Next verse we will see tomorrow. Arihom sarvam krishnarpanamastu. Narayana 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 Narayana